In this week's Torah portion, Shmini, it's an erotic Torah portion. There's no other way of saying it. There's great passion, there's great fire. We are finally meeting God face to face. There's the meeting, there's the kiss, and it's overwhelming. In fact, it's so overwhelming, the two sons of Aaron, Nadav and Avihu, they don't want to part from God, and as a result, he gulps them up in a fire, much like what happened to Elijah. I spoke about this last year. I don't think they sinned here. And in all this fire and passion, we're suddenly told about the laws of kashrut, right? What we can and can't eat. It's sort of like a downer. What's going on here? How is it connected? Because, of course, I think it's directly connected to the passion and fire going on in this week's Torah portion. What are the laws of kashrut all about? And the reason I'm asking what are the laws of kashrut all about, because there is I'm in good company here, because for thousands of years, in different cultural times, Jewish commentators are trying to understand the laws of kashrut within their cultural context. So I'm going to try and understand this in a 21st century context. So for example, the Midrash 1,500 years ago is looking at the symbolism of the pig and the eagle and the various enemies that want to get rid of us. And 150 years ago, the Rashar Hirsch is looking at all those rational Jews who are talking about how clearly we need to keep kashrus because it's a good diet for the body. So I want to look at this in a 21st century perspective, and it seems to me that Judaism comes across as a very rational religion, as a very Jews are very rational people, a lot of Nobel Prize winners. But the truth of the matter is, to call Judaism a rational religion seems to me to be one of the most irrational statements someone could make. Look at the Babylonian Talmud. There's almost as much talk about magic in there as there is a halachic debate. Look at the Jewish library throughout history. We are probably the most superstitious people on earth. In fact, here's a trivia question. Where does the mermaid appear? Yes, a mermaid in this week's Torah portion. I'm going to leave you with that. So what are the laws of kashrut about? How is it connected to the fire and passion, this meeting with God? And I want to focus on one word. It is a word that obsessively repeats itself in this week's Torah portion. That is the word sheketz. What is sheketz? Right, we're told the reason we can't eat non-kosher animals is because they are sheketz, perhaps abomination. I'm not even going to check with the King James Bible. They're hopeless. But according to other commentators, sheketz is abomination. We can't eat non-kosher animals because they're an abomination to our soul. Right? This is an irrational statement. Notice, you can't escape that. It's talking about what it does to our soul, to our nefesh. There is nothing about dietary laws. It is all about the fight between good and evil, between God and the snake. This is taking us back to the Garden of Eden. That's right. It's all full of passion. Remember, God's greatest enemy is the snake who manages to tempt Chava, and that's what's going on here. The height of this passionate meeting between us and God, the snake is tempting to come back, and God needs to protect us. So we have the laws of kashrut, because the snake has put himself inside all non-kosher animals. According to this take, non-kosher animals we cannot eat because there is evil inside them. It's not nice to say. We don't like the thought, right? What's wrong with a lion? What's wrong with an eagle? That's perhaps what this is saying. And we're told that we're not allowed to. And where does the snake appear, by the way, in this week's Torah portion? We're told we can't eat anything ha'olech al gachon, that goes on its belly, and Rashi says Gachon is a snake, none other, I think, than the snake. And if you look at the Vav, the letter Vav on the Gachon, it is an elongated Vav. We have the snake here in the heart of this week's Torah portion fighting against God, and I think that's what this is about. This Torah portion is all about the fight between good and evil, our role as Jews to differentiate between the powers of pure and the powers of evil. Is there anything more irrational than that? You can't even see pure and evil, pure and impure, right? We are the most irrational religion in the world, and this week's Torah portion tells us that. Let's not beat around the bush. This is an important task. In any event, I'm not going to get into the word sheketz, and if you look at its letters, it in fact is one of the most disruptive words and misleading words, because it takes tzadik kuf resh shin, 4 letters that are one after the other, and it reverses their order. That's what that's what the snake is trying to do, is trying to mix things up, and our role is to differentiate a irrationalist take in living in a rational time on Shmini, one of the most passionate erotic Torah portions, and how the laws of kashrut are all about battling the snake in the Garden of Eden. Thoughts on Shmini? Shabbat Shalom.